ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादे पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्नि गौरकृषे नमः। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. So today we have come to a section in the 4th chapter that we were studying, Śrimad Bhagavad Gita, where we have to study from verse number 34 to verse number 42. We will chant first. तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदिक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनः स्वदर्शिनः. That knowledge of different sacrifices. Vidhi, try to understand. Pranipatena, by approaching a spiritual master. Pariprashnena, by submissive inquiries. Sevaya, by the rendering of service. Upadikshanti, they will initiate. Te, you. Jnanam, into knowledge. Jnaninaha, the self-realized. Tattva, of the truth. Darshinaha, seers. Translation. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Okay, so we see that in this verse number 34, Bhagavan is telling us how to receive this transcendental knowledge. He says one should approach a guru, a spiritual master, ask him questions and serve him unconditionally to actually reach to the state of understanding our relationship with the Lord. This is the transcendental knowledge. And Bhagavan also says how to approach a guru. That is when the inquiries are effective. Pariprashnena, that is the inquiries, when they are effective. They are effective when there is submission and service. Tadvidhi pranipatena. Pranipatena is submission and sevaya. Pariprashnena sevaya. Sevaya is by service. So this is the way to approach the spiritual master. So if we submissively serve the spiritual master and inquire him about the transcendental knowledge, then we will be able to receive the same, because the Guru is a self-realized, God-realized soul. Okay, so the next verse, that is verse number 35. यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम् एवं यस्यासि पाण्डव येन भूतन्यशेषाणि द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि. Yat, which, jnatva, knowing, na, never, punaha, again, moham, to illusion, evam, like this, yasyasi, you shall go, Pandava, O son of Pandu, yena, by which, bhutani, living entities, asheshani, asheshani, that is all, drakshyasi, you will see, Atmani, in the Supreme Soul, Athao, or in other words, Mai, in me. Translation. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion, for by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. This is a very, very important verse where we can see Krishna is giving a self-declaration, that is, he is the Supreme. Here we can see Atmani, that is, you will see in the Supreme Soul, or Athau, in other words, Mai, in me. And therefore, you will become free from illusion. That will be the result of this transcendental knowledge when you will receive from your spiritual master by submission and service to him. So we see and Bhagavan says that is seeing all the living entities in the Lord. So we will know then that Bhagavan is everything. He is the cause of all causes. This is the result of this transcendental knowledge we see. Now, why it is and how it is? Because, see, the understanding of our existence that is separate from Krishna is nothing but illusion. Illusion, Maya. Maya, Ma means not, and Ya means this. This is not, that is Maya. So this understanding is the illusion, that is, we are separate from Krishna. So we may think that Krishna is just an exceptional historical personality, and that we have nothing to do with Krishna, and that the absolute Brahman is impersonal, Nirakara, Nirvishesha, etc. So then why Bhagavan is saying Atmane Athaumai? In the Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. Why is he saying this? We see that impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of Krishna, Brahma Jyoti. We see in Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji says that he is the cause of all causes, as we just said, Sarva Karana Karanam. Millions of incarnations are his various expansions. So the living entities are also his expansions. Now Krishna never loses his own separate existence. In many of his expansions, like when we say God is everything, it means everything comes from him. He does not become anything by losing his own identity. That is not the thing that happens. So it is by his inconceivable potency, Achintya Shakti, that everything is manifested in this creation. So we see in the spiritual world, 1 plus 1 is equal to 1, and 1 minus 1 is also 1. So it is only the material things which lose their identity when distributed in fragments. But in the spiritual world, it is not the case. But due to our insufficient knowledge of absolute science, we are covered by illusion, Maya. And we think ourselves separate from Krishna. In fact, we are never different from him, but we are separate parts of Krishna. As Bhagavan says, we will see, Sutre Manigana iva. That is, we are like pearls strung in a necklace. So, we are the parts. And as the energy of the energetic, we see always the energy acts on behalf of the energetic if we consider their relationship. And the energy cannot act separately without the consent of the energetic. So that is our condition. We are the energy of the Lord, but we cannot act separately without the consent of the whole. That is the Lord. That is the energetic. So we see that the whole teaching of Bhagavad Gita is targeted toward this end, this particular end, that a living being, as Krishna's eternal servant, Nitya Dāsī, cannot be separated from Krishna, and his sense of being and identity separate from Krishna is Maya. It is, in true sense, that we call Maya. So, to understand that the living entities are neither separate from Krishna nor equal to Krishna, we need to understand Bhagavad Gita perfectly under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, as Krishna says in this particular verse, in the last verse actually, tad vidhi pranipatena, that verse. So, and we see that what happens after this transcendental knowledge, we become free from illusion. That is there mentioned in this verse. And in the next verse, we see verse number 36. Api chedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittamah sarvam jnana plavenaiva vrijinam sankarishyasi. Api, even, chit, if, asi, you are, papebhyah, of sinners, sarvebhyah, of all, papakrittamaha, the greatest sinner, sarvam, all such sinful reactions, jnana plavena, by the boat of transcendental knowledge, eva, certainly, vrijinam, the ocean of miseries, santarishyasi, you will cross completely. Translation: even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So here from this verse, we can get another result that is derived from this transcendental knowledge. And what is that? We can become free from the ocean of miseries. As we know, this world, this material world, is a place of miseries. So we can cross it over. And the next verse, we will get another result of receiving this transcendental knowledge. यथैधांसि समिद्धोऽग्निर्भस्मसात् कुरुतेऽर्जुन ज्ञानाग्नि सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा. So this भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा, सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा means all the karmic actions are burned. Okay, so yatha, just as, edhamsi, firewood, samidhaha, blazing, agnihi, fire, bhasmasat, ashes, kurute, turns, Arjuna, O Arjuna, jnana agnihi, the fire of knowledge, sarva karmani, all reactions to material activities, bhasmasat, to ashes, kurute, it turns, tatha, similarly. Translation. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. So we become free from karmic reactions. The next verse, verse 38. नाहि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रम् इह विद्यते तत्स्वयं योगसंसिद्धः कालेनात्मनि विन्दते. Na, nothing, he, certainly, jnanena, with knowledge, sadrisham, in comparison, pavitram, sanctified, iha, in this world, vidyate, exists, tat, that, swayam, himself, yoga, in devotion, samsiddhaha, he who is mature, kalena, in course of time, atmani, in himself, vindati, enjoys. Translation. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. So Bhagavan says that when one receives this knowledge perfectly from a bona fide spiritual master, he actually becomes sanctified. And vindati, that is, he enjoys within himself. So this is the effect of this transcendental knowledge. And then Bhagavan says in 39, who is eligible for this transcendental knowledge? Shraddhavallabhate jnanam tatpara samyatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. So, Shraddhavan, a faithful man, labhate, achieves, jnanam, knowledge, tatparaha, very much attached to it, samyata, controlled, indriyaha, senses, jnanam, knowledge, labdhva, having achieved, param, transcendental, shantim, peace, achirena, very soon, adhigacchati, attains. Translation. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So, there are 3 points. Who approaches a guru with submission and service. Number 2, who is faithful. And number 3, who have controlled his senses. He is eligible to receive this knowledge. Bhagavan again concluding this. And in verse number 40, Bhagavan is saying, who cannot receive this knowledge. Ajñascha shraddadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokasti na paro na sukham samshayatmanaha. So, Ajñaha. Ajñaha means a fool who has no knowledge in standard scriptures. Cha and ashraddadhanaha, without faith in revealed scriptures. Cha also samshaya, of doubts. Atma, a person. Vinashyati, falls back. Na, never. Ayam, in this. Lokaha, world. Asti, there is. Na, nor. Paraha, in the next life. Na, not. Sukham, happiness. Samshaya, doubtful. Atmanaha, of the person. Translation. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So Bhagavan is saying who are unable to receive this knowledge. So there are fools without any scriptural knowledge. 3 categories of people are there who actually cannot receive this knowledge. 1, a fool without any scriptural knowledge means who don't want the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Number 2, without faith. They are such people who can recite the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita very perfectly, but they don't believe the words personally. And there are other kind, that is a third, that is doubtful, who don't accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So after learning Bhagavad Gita, if one is not able to accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord, then definitely his study is of no use, because it is clearly visioned in the entire Bhagavad Gita. And if one really does not understand this, that means he has studied the peripheral structure of the scripture and couldn't understand the essence. So that is the thing Bhagavan says. And then Bhagavan says in verse number 41, Yoga sanyasya karmanam jnana samchinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadhnante dhananjaya. So, yoga, by devotional service in karma yoga. Sanyasta, one who has renounced. Karmanam, the fruits of actions. Jnana, by knowledge. Sanchinna, cut. Samshayam, doubts. Atmavantam, situated in the self. Na, never. Karmani, works. Nibadhnanti, do bind. Dhananjaya, O conqueror of riches. Translation. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of work. O conqueror of riches. So Bhagavan says about perfection in this verse, we see. That is, when the doubts are destroyed by the transcendental knowledge, a person becomes peaceful. And then the fruits of activities, when the fruits of activities are renounced by devotional activities in Karma Yoga, a person becomes sanctified. So these are the 2 points that is mentioned here in this verse. And Atmavantam, that is situated in the self, he becomes, or he elevates to that state. So he is no more bound by the reactions of actions. And now the last verse. तस्मादज्ञानसम्भूतं हृत्स्थं ज्ञानासिनात्मनः छित्त्वैनं संशयं योगम् आतिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ भारत. Tasmat, therefore, ajnana-sambhutam, born of ignorance, hritstham, situated in the heart, jnana, of knowledge, asina, by the weapon, atmanaha, of the self, chitva, cutting off, inam, this, samshayam, doubt, yogam, in yoga, atishtha, be situated, uttishtha, stand up to fight, bharata, O descendant of Bharata. Translation. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. So we see how Bhagavan is saying that by this transcendental knowledge, we can remove ignorance. At the sword of knowledge, actually, he is saying, by the sword of knowledge, we can remove the ignorance. Jnana asi, sword of knowledge. And act being situated in our constitutional position, that is the eternal servant of the Lord. And this is the Sanatana Yoga, that is the eternal activities performed by the eternal Atma, the living entities. So in this chapter, we have studied a few very important things. One is transcendental knowledge about God, that is Krishna. And then Krishna is the ultimate goal, and he is the creator of Varnashrama system, that also we have learned. Then we have learned about Karma Yoga in detail. And then we also studied about different kinds of yajnas, sacrifices, and that the yajnas culminate in transcendental knowledge. That also we have learned. And then in last few verses, we have actually learned the summary of the transcendental knowledge, how to receive the knowledge, how to approach a guru, and how to receive the knowledge, and what is the effect of receiving this knowledge. So all these things we have learned. So with this, we have completed chapter 4 from Śrimad Bhagavad Gita. And we will start the next chapter, that is chapter 5, in our next class. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.